Welcome back to the 14th episode of the BatChums podcast. I'm Drew Leiter, and joining me tonight is my co-host, the man, the myth, the new legend, Mike Gordon.
Howdy. How are you?
Well, I'm doing good. I'm feeling plastered.
I knew you weren't just drinking water.
It looks like water.
Yep.
All right.
Very cool. Very cool. Yep. The second part of the Mad Hatter two-parter.
Yeah, so this is season 1, episode 14, Batman Stands Pat. Episode aired Thursday, February 24th, 1966, directed by Norman Foster and written by Charles Hoffman.
Now, I said last time that it was confusing because there was a couple of different sources that I saw that this episode was based on, and so I wasn't really sure. So I've actually done the research. I've read the stories, each individual story, and there's two of them. Actually, it's a combination of two previous versions or comic version stories of the Mad Hatter. One is in Batman 161 called The New Crimes of the Mad Hatter, where the plot of which is the Mad Hatter is wanting to sorry, I spaced out there. He's wanting to go up again. He's trying to kidnap and get the hats of the people who served as the jury when he was arrested and tried. So that's a whole plot there. And then Detective Comics 230 is called The Mad Hatter of Gotham City. That storyline is a storyline in which the Mad Hatter wants the cowl. He's obsessed with getting the cowl of the Cape Crusader, and he even impersonates a sculptor. And that scene plays out pretty much the way it does in the comic and the TV series, and gets caught doing that. So it's a combination of these two. And the really weird and interesting thing about that is that I think in his second appearance, the Mad Hatter of Gotham City, that appearance in the comics is actually now regarded as quote unquote the imposter Mad Hatter. Um, this is one where he kind of like Jarvis Tech was put in jail within for the first few stories, and then another Jarvis Tech came to wreak havoc on Gotham City in this story, looking very much like the David Wayne version that we see in the series, and also with the trick hat, which fires hypnotic beams. And he's obsessed with stealing hats, particularly Batman's cowl. So I don't know how that storyline between the imposter one and the real one is resolved, but it is it's an interesting kind of combination of history that we have in this particular story. And so yeah, they merged the two stories, and this is the first time we've seen this. Usually they take elements from just a single story of the comics, if at all. And in this one they combined two stories, still not giving anybody who had anything to do with the comics credit, but uh it is interesting that they did that for this particular story. So yeah, I would seek out, if you're interested in reading the follow-up stories to this or the original stories to this episode, Detective Comics 230 and Batman 161 are the places you can find those.
And we'll put links in the show notes.
Woohoo!
All right. Well, we know when we left Batman last time, we know he was covered in plaster. So, like always, we must consult Magic Batman. Let's see if Batman can get out of this predicament. And as usual, Magic Batman does not like to cooperate.
He's a little plastered himself.
Yep. Let's just get to the recap. Let's see. Octave Marbo works to free Batman from the plaster, Robin is tied to a horse statue. When Mad Hatter realizes Batman is still alive, he and his men flee to the Batmobile to use as a getaway car. When they try to start the Batmobile, Mad Hatter is in for a surprise when Batman's firework bat alarm on the Batmobile goes off. The villains flee on foot. Batman explains to Robin that getting out of the plaster tomb was easier than it looked. He just simply held his breath. Holy frog, man! Batman and Robin return to the Batcave. Batman calls Commissioner Gordon and learns that 11 people have been abducted, along with their hats. Batman and Robin consult the Bat computer. They figure out that the Mad Hatter is after the jurors from his trial. After consulting Commissioner Gordon again, Batman learns the only juror left is Turkey Bullwinkle. Batman decides to send Alfred to the bowling alley to put a bat homing beacon in Bullwinkle's hat. I'm going to interrupt myself here because where do they come up with these names? Turkey Bullwinkle?
Yeah, that's not. I don't think that's from the comics.
Okay. Alfred attempts to get his hands on Bullwinkle's hat with some family tree tracing scheme, but Bullwinkle doesn't go for it. Luckily for Alfred, Mad Hatter's girlfriend Lisa comes in looking for the hat also. Lisa distracts Bullwinkle, giving Alfred time to sneak into Bullwinkle's office and plant the bat homing beacon. Alfred just misses Mad Hatter, who steals the hat. Mad Hatter returns to the lobby. Bullwinkle and Hatter fight over the hat, and the bat transmitter falls out of it. Mad Hatter uses his super instant mesmerizer on Bullwinkle. Batman and Robin follow the bat transmitter signal to the warehouse. They use their batarang and rope to gain access to a window and enter. Once inside, the Mad Hatter and his men surround Batman and Robin with guns pointed. Lisa returns wanting a bite to eat. Hatter's men try to force Batman into the factory, but Batman and Robin fight back. During the fight, Robin gets put on a conveyor belt. Batman is able to save him. The fight continues until Robin gets into trouble again. Batman swings on a lamp, knocking out, Batman swings on a lamp. If I could say it here. Batman swings on a lamp, knocking Mad Hatter into a bin of acid. Commissioner Gordon, Chief O'Hara, and their men show up late to Mad Hatter's lair, stating they had a heck of a time trying to find this place. Bruce gets Aunt Harriet a hat for her birthday from the hat shop.
So this is the follow-up episode. Looking behind the scenes, the only thing I really noticed of note, besides all the confusion with the original story that it was based on, apparently David Wayne did not enjoy working on this. I guess he had to be roped into doing it again. So we will see the Mad Hatter again, despite the fact that he was dropped into acid at the end of this.
That was so funny because they drop it and Batman knocks him into acid and they just kind of leave him in there.
Yeah, I was like, oh,
like,
that doesn't sound good, but no, he's okay. I think
he didn't turn into another Joker.
No, I did like this the Mad Hatter's soliloquy or sort of vamping about the trap that he had built for Batman and the fact that he was going to make him into a fez and wear him on a camel. I just thought that was pretty funny. I'm a big fez guy, so I can appreciate a good fez. But yeah, there's some stuff here. But you know, when he's even in the first episode when he's going through that elaborate trap that he has set for Batman about how he's going to do this to him and everything, it doesn't really look that threatening. It looks very plasticky
Yes, it does.
and cardboard. It looks like it's held together with duct tape barely. When Robin's on it, it doesn't seem very threatening at all in the second episode, even though Batman, you know, has to save him a couple times. So
I had to
I think
laugh. I'm going to interrupt you for a second because when they put him on that conveyor belt. He wasn't tied down or anything.
No,
At first, I thought maybe he was knocked out, but he wasn't. He could have just rolled off that thing. but but no, we had to have Batman save him. I thought that was funny.
it absolutely was. He was stunned. Drew, come on, man, he's
Okay.
stunned. Yeah,
He
yeah,
was stunned. Okay.
he's stunned. But yeah, the plaster turns out to be much better of a cliffhanger, and I think they were wise to go with that. But then I don't know if it would have made any difference. But then the sort of like, the pat answer of him just saying, that he held his breath and that's how he got out of it. I was like, yeah, but you had no idea like how long that was gonna take. I mean,
Yeah.
that was it just seemed like it was kind of a letdown, like, oh, okay, okay. That's I guess it's but yeah, I think this is a an okay a two-parter. Not the best one we've seen. It's still enjoyable. There's still some great stuff, despite the fact that he didn't really like doing it. I think the Mad Hatter, David Wayne, is pretty fun. When he does have a couple moments to shine, I think he does okay. The constant criticisms of his crew are really funny because they don't get what he's doing and they just want to get paid and
I don't even talk about money. They just want to eat.
yeah, yeah. um the stuff with the plaster is kind of fun, and the hat shop and all that is kind of is fun too. So yeah, it's okay. But probably not on my top 10 or anything like that, but it's pretty fun. It's got its fun moments.
One thing I have to say about this episode is it's got one of the longest fight scenes we've seen so far. It
Yeah,
went
and
on
it
for
was
quite a bit.
it usually with the fight scenes, it seems like they just pan out and then let we just see it from a distance. This one had a lot of close-ups.
Yeah. We saw Robin's stunt double quite a bit.
Oh yeah, it does. Yeah, it's even when it's close up, it's even more obvious. But there was a few times where it did look like they were actually doing things, both Adam and Bert.
Yeah.
Um,
I have to agree with you on that. They did do some stuff in that. So it wasn't just all their stunt doubles.
yeah,
But yeah, I was surprised how long the fight scene was. That's one of the longest ones we've seen so far.
yeah, you're right. You're probably right about that. So it's okay. The other thing about this is too is that Batman seems to have no trouble in putting Alfred in danger.
Yeah.
He's like, well, we could, Alfred, you should go. And at first, I thought he was going to replace Turkey Bowwinkle and sort of serve as his, But then again, uh, the Mad Hatter should recognize him because he was on the jury, so that probably wouldn't have worked. But
Right.
the fact that they were doing that too, the fact that they were going up against, that the whole plan was that he had about getting revenge on the jury should have been something that Batman could have connected to, and the police could have connected to like pretty quickly. Like that seems to be like they waited till they got to the 12th guy then to go like, oh, that's what he's doing. And I'm like, that's come on, man.
Yeah. I would have thought Batman would have figured it out way before then because he should have been looking at who was being abducted and why.
Yeah, they all should have been. Yeah, it's like when Batman asks for the list of jurors, it's so funny because the police commissioner's like, I don't know why you'd want that, but okay. I'm like, really? Come on, man. It's kind of yeah. But yeah, we see we didn't see Alfred at all, I think, in the last storyline, right? So now we get like Alfred actually participating in the action here, which I thought was pretty fun.
Yeah, I thought so too.
So that's a highlight about this episode as well. So yeah, it's not it is yeah. I don't think we've seen any that have been a complete wash or anything. They all seem to have something fun going for them. So but yeah, David Wayne, I don't know if it's his lack of enthusiasm or just the way he's written or whatever, but yeah, he doesn't, or maybe just the Mad Hatter himself is just not. I've never really thought of the Mad Hatter being in the same league, if you will, uh as Joker and Riddler and all of that. Just like, he's sort of like second tier to me. Although
Yeah.
sometimes he's used pretty effectively in the comics, and he has been, you know, for a second tier character or second tier villain, if you will. He has been used a lot in other live action versions. I think he appeared in Gotham. I think he appeared in Batwoman. I mean, I think he's shown up several times in other incarnations of Batman TV series.
You just jogged my memory about something.
Oh no,
There was
I'm sorry, I didn't mean
there
to.
it just hit me. Back in the late 80s, I remember a Detective Comics issue with Batman and Robin, Jason Todd, and the Mad Hatter.
Mm.
And I'm kind of seeing, I'm kind of remembering what I think is the cover has Batman and Robin on it, and Mad Hatter, and he's throwing. It looks like what I remember. He's throwing some sort of. It looks like discs or something. I don't know.
Hmm.
This is going off of my memory. I
Ah,
probably haven't seen this comic for since then. I don't even know if I have it or not. I just remember it. So I'm thinking about it. That's probably the first time I remember seeing him in comics was back then. I know, of course, I saw him on the show, but this
sure.
isn't these. This neither one of these two parters. I do not remember them. The one I remember distinctly, like I said last episode, the one I distinctly, where if I can say the word, the one I remember is one where he's trying to get Batman's cowl or something, or he spray paints it or makes it a different color. I don't know. We'll find out when we get there, I guess.
We will. We will. That is yeah, that is coming up. The as a matter of fact, the story, the comic story where the Mad Hatter, I think it's the imposter Mad Hatter, is obsessed with getting Batman's cowl. I think he actually, in order to get it, he makes it radioactive so that Batman has to give it up. But that's how they use that then to track him. So there is that sort of element that I think we will see later in this series. Now, interestingly enough, and I meant to mention this before, but the imposter Mad Hatter has shown up. Um, I say recently, but I think maybe 2010 or so, maybe was the last time, maybe. But now he goes by the moniker Hat Man. So, so Hat Man returns. So I don't know if for people who are looking for trying to track the imposter, as opposed to the original Mad Hatter, there you go. So
Found it. Detective Detective Comics 573. It looks like it was in April of 1986. It's a little blurry what I'm looking at, but it looks like April of 87.
hmm.
Comic was 75 cents. But it
Wow.
has Batman and Robin, Jason Todd on the front. It says Wayne for councilman. And he's throwing these hats that say Wayne for
Oh yeah.
councilman on it. And the brim looks like a saw blade.
Yep, I see it now. I pulled that up and yeah, I see it. I'm not familiar with
That's
this
the
story.
issue I remember.
Wow. Yeah, that's
I
pretty
don't
impressive.
know if I don't know if I have this issue, but I do remember seeing the cover before. So it's
Gotcha.
possible I might have it.
This this is the second Mad Hatter. This is the imposter still.
This is the imposter. Okay.
Yeah.
All righty then.
Yeah, the one that you see on the cover here is the second Mad Hatter. So
All right. We'll put this one in the show. We'll put this in the show notes too, so you guys can see it.
yeah, yeah. Very cool. All right. So yeah, that's I think that's about all I had on it. Anything else that you wanted to say about this episode?
I don't really have anything else to say about it either.
How do you rank it? Is it all right or
Yeah, it's all right. It's not. It's definitely not a favorite, and definitely, I think some of the other episodes we've seen are kind of better than this one. But It's all right.
All right.
All right. Well, that wraps up another episode. Do you have a shout out, Mike?
I do actually. I was recently on the 18th anniversary episode of Raging Bullets with Sean and Jim, a DC Comics related podcast. They've been doing it for 18 years, Drew. That's almost as much as you and me put together.
Yeah.
So Sean and Jim, good friends. They've done this podcast for so long, and they're just so good at it. I love their enthusiasm for comics, particularly DC comics, but in the medium in general. They do such a great job, and it was an honor to join them. I think this is the first time I've actually been on an entire show with them, so it was really fun. We needed something special to commiserate their anniversary, so we reviewed the first trade of the Justice League International series from the 80s that was written by Keith Giffen, who recently we lost, as well as JMD Mateus and Kevin McGuire did art. And it's a really, really fun read. So I recommend people check out Justice League International, the first trade, the first 7 issues. If you're on digital, it's really, really a fun book, but it's also yeah, it's known as the Bwahaha series, and it really is perfect for those people who like Batman 60s TV show because it's very much a fun read. It feels like a light read, although there's some really, really layered stuff going on behind the scenes in this book too that we get into on the show. So yeah, read the book and then listen to the podcast. It was a lot of fun.
Is that is is one of the issues in there the one where Batman punches Guy Gardner?
Absolutely. Yes.
Oh man.
One of the seminal moments in Batman history, I think, in comics history is that punch. It happens in Justice League number 5, issue number 5, I believe.
That series is awesome. I need to revisit it myself. I love that series.
It's a blast. I definitely recommend it.
All right, and for my shout out, unfortunately, I could not find my Indiana Jones hat. I wanted to wear it. But for my shout out, because we're talking about the Mad Hatter, unfortunately, I couldn't find my Indiana Jones hat. I have a feeling it's in the storage unit. So, but it was actually on my honeymoon. On my honeymoon, we did a cruise and then went to Disney World, and Disney World had an Indiana Jones stunt show.
Mhm.
So I don't know if you ever been there or saw it, Mike, when back in the 90s.
I have seen
But
the Indiana Jones stunt show in Walt Disney World. Yes, I've seen that.
yes, well, I got picked to be
Oh wow.
in it. So yeah, I got to go out there and be in the stunt show. So it was pretty fun. It was a fun time. So that's kind of my shout out. They probably it's since it's been such a long time, they probably don't do it anymore. But it was
I don't think
that
they
stunt
do.
show was kind of a blast. But yeah, that was a blast to be in.
I bet. Yeah, that was that was real fun. I appreciated that them doing that. I thought it was really really cool.
Right. And if I remember right, it was from Raiders of the Lost Ark, wasn't it?
Yeah. I just
Which
remember
is
like there were some explosions and the heat from the stage
yeah.
just being really warm. Like, I was like, "Whoa."
Yeah, you could feel that heat. But that was pretty cool. Too bad we don't have it on film. All right. If you'd like to comment on anything we've talked about tonight, you can reach us at our feedback line 317-455-8411. You can leave us a message, text us, or you can email us at batchumspodcast@gmail.com. Are you ready to get out of here, Batchum?
Ready to move out.
Atomic batteries to power, turbines to speed. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Don't worry, the worst is yet to come.